Mexico just became the first country in history to host the FIFA World Cup 3 times. 30 million visitors are coming, 16 host cities, 104 matches, and when the final whistle blows, 90% of them will leave having seen nothing but a stadium. This isn't a football problem. It's a Mexico problem that's been running for 500 years. Visitors land, stay in the obvious places, buy the obvious souvenirs, and fly home convinced they've done Mexico. Meanwhile, monarch butterflies cross the US border every autumn, 4 generations removed from the butterflies that left, and land on the exact same trees. An hour from the Azteca Stadium, a rock monolith taller than the Empire State Building has been standing since magma cooled underground. The world's most hyped event is about to descend on the world's most overlooked country. And the gap between what visitors will see and what's actually here. That gap is the entire point of this video. During Mexico's role as a 1970 and 1986 World Cup host, international visitors didn't just stay around stadium cities. Many started exploring the coastline, and over time, places along Oaxaca's shore, like Puerto Escondido, began to gain recognition. On this stretch of Pacific coast, a former fishing town grew into one of Mexico's most loved seaside escapes, without ever losing its original pace of life. It is best known for Zihuatanejo Beach, where the Pacific Ocean becomes intense and unpredictable. Waves rise with real force here, forming one of the most demanding surf breaks in the world and drawing experienced surfers from different countries who come just for this challenge. But the story of Puerto Escondido for many visitors isn't about surfing alone, it's what happens in between. A slow walk along long open beaches where nothing feels rushed. Small boats moving close to the shore, following routines that haven't changed for years. Quiet waters nearby where even first-time surfers step into the ocean, not to master it, but just to try. Football travellers who are drawn to natural landmarks often describe Peña de Bernal as a place that doesn't belong to scale at all. It rises about 433 meters above the town, but its story began deep underground millions of years ago. Around 8.7 million years ago, tectonic pressure forced magma upward beneath central Mexico, but it never erupted. Instead, it cooled and hardened below the surface into solid volcanic rock. Over time, wind and erosion wore away the softer layers around it, leaving only this strong core exposed. From a distance, Peña de Bernal appears unreal, rising from the landscape like a structure placed at the center of a town. But as you approach, the perspective shifts. The road narrows, the streets become more intimate, and daily life continues right at its base. football lovers left arguing about whether Ensenada is the best coastal city in North America. And somehow, that argument didn't end in stadiums, but along the Pacific. Because when the conversation shifts away from goals and crowds, Mexico has a habit of replacing it with places like this. Ensenada sits on the Baja California coastline, just a few hours south of the US border. It began as a small fishing port shaped by maritime trade, ocean routes, and a life that has always depended on the sea. Even today, the harbour remains active, with fishing boats returning and cargo ships marking the city's connection to the wider Pacific world. The Malecón carries the soul of the city, a long waterfront where the Pacific crashes against the rocks, and a huge Mexican flag rises above it, waving strongly in the ocean wind, visible across the coast. It feels like a symbol of identity facing the open sea. Around it, endless blue water and golden light reflect across the surface, turning the coastline into an open view where sea and sky merge without end. In the 16th century, Hernán Cortés recognized Taxco's rich silver deposits, turning the town into one of New Spain's most important mining centers and today's silver capital of Mexico. Tourists didn't expect to find an entire town built into the side of a mountain. High in the mountains of Guerrero, Taxco is one of Mexico's most beautiful colonial towns. White houses with red-tiled roofs cascade down the hillsides, while narrow cobblestone streets wind through the town, revealing breathtaking views at almost every turn. Rising above the rooftops is the Santa Prisca Church, completed in 1758. Built with wealth from Taxco's silver mines, its striking pink stone towers dominate the skyline and have become the town's most recognizable landmark. Along one of the largest natural bays in the world lies Puerto Vallarta, where the ocean meets the green mountains of the Sierra Madre. Long before it became a famous destination, it was a fishing village known as Las Peñas. In 1918, it was officially renamed Puerto Vallarta in honor of former Jalisco Governor Ignacio Vallarta. The famous Malecón stretches beside the ocean where waves crash against the shoreline. Just beyond it, the elegant Los Muertos Pier reaches into the bay, with fishing boats, sailing yachts, and tour boats resting beneath it, creating a beautiful scene against the open sky and the blue waters of Banderas Bay. Beyond the waterfront, white houses with red-tiled roofs climb the surrounding hillsides, blending with the green mountains behind them. Rising above the city is the church, whose distinctive crown-top tower has become one of Puerto Vallarta's most recognizable landmarks and can be seen from across the city. At first, it feels impossible to connect football with a forest, but in Mexico, journeys don't always stay where you expect them to. Far from the stadium lights and crowded streets, high in the mountains between Michoacán and the state of Mexico, lies Monarch Butterfly Biosphere Reserve, one of nature's most extraordinary migration sites. Every year, millions of monarch butterflies travel thousands of kilometers from North America to these forests. Covering the trees so densely that branches almost disappear under their wings. What surprises most visitors is not just the number of butterflies, but the silence. After the energy of football stadiums, the reserve feels completely different. The air is still, and then, slowly, the trees begin to move, not from wind, but from life itself. Scientists consider this migration one of the most remarkable natural phenomena on Earth, especially because no single butterfly completes the entire journey. It takes multiple generations to reach Mexico, guided by instinct that still isn't fully understood. Not every football conversation in Mexico stays focused on football. Sometimes it drifts toward a bay on the Pacific coast called Zihuatanejo. Zihuatanejo began as a fishing town. For generations, its naturally sheltered bay provided a safe place for boats, helping the community grow around the water rather than away from it. Green hills wrap around the coastline. Hillside hotels overlook the bay. And below them, boats drift across the calm water, while waves crash against the rocky shoreline. Especially during the vibrant sunsets. The coastline continues into the port of Ixtapa, a modern marina filled with boats, blue water, and palm-lined shores. Together, Zihuatanejo and Ixtapa offer two different experiences connected by the same beautiful bay. Built by the Maya civilization over 1,000 years ago, Chichén Itzá grew into one of the most important cities in ancient Mesoamerica. Today, it is recognized as one of the new 7 wonders of the world, attracting millions of visitors from around the world. The first structure that captures everyone's attention is El Castillo, a pyramid rising nearly 30 meters above the ancient city. Built from thousands of limestone blocks, it features 365 steps and draws millions of tourists each year. who come to walk through this ancient site and admire one of the Maya civilization's greatest architectural achievements. At the southern tip of Baja California, the Pacific Ocean and the Sea of Cortez meet at a place known as Land's End. The waters arrive from different directions, carrying different temperatures and currents, creating a meeting point that has fascinated sailors and travelers for centuries. And right at the edge of that meeting point is El Arco. Rising from the sea, this massive granite arch has been part of the landscape for roughly 30 million years. In fact, the rock formation is far older than the Sea of Cortez itself, which only began forming around 5 million years ago. Today, it has become the symbol of Cabo San Lucas. The beauty of the place is impossible to ignore. Golden beaches, rugged cliffs, and crystal clear blue water create a stunning coastline. Along the shore, beautiful beachfront homes overlook the sea, while numerous boats cross the bay, carrying visitors toward El Arco and some of Cabo's most spectacular views. The conversation usually begins with football, but somehow it ends with a lake that looked too blue to be real. That's Lagunas de Montebello. In 1959, Montebello became Chiapas's first national park and gained UNESCO Biosphere Reserve recognition in 2009. This remarkable landscape is known for its crystal clear waters, where shades of turquoise, emerald, and deep blue seem to change with every shift of sunlight. Small wooden boats drift across the water, offering visitors a closer look at Montebello's beauty. From the middle of the lake, the forests reflect so perfectly on the surface that water and land seem to blend into one peaceful landscape. Every football fan who passed through Puebla thought they were making a quick stop between matches, but the city had other plans. Founded in 1531, Puebla became one of the most important cities in colonial Mexico, connecting the capital with the port of Veracruz. Today, its historic center is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where colorful colonial buildings, grand churches, and centuries of history blend into everyday life. Just a short drive away is Cholula. From its elevated viewpoints, visitors are treated to sweeping views of the valley, with the snow-capped volcanoes Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl often rising in the distance on clear days. As evening arrives, Cholula becomes even more captivating. Warm light spread across the town, illuminating the skyline and creating a calm, welcoming atmosphere. Once a fishing village, Sayulita gradually grew into one of Mexico's most loved beach destinations. The change gained momentum in the 1960s when improved roads made the coastline easier to reach, introducing travelers to its natural beauty. Golden sand stretches along the shoreline as waves roll onto the beach. Colourful umbrellas dot the coast, where visitors enjoy the ocean breeze. The town is especially known for its surfing. Its steady waves attract both experienced surfers and complete beginners, making it one of the best places in Mexico to learn. Throughout the day, surfboards fill the beach, while small fishing boats drift just offshore, adding relaxed coastal atmosphere that makes Sayulita so easy to fall in love with. Between match days, many football fans set out to explore Mexico. And for some, that journey leads to Playa Balandra. Playa Balandra sits on the eastern shore of the Baja Peninsula, cradled inside a horseshoe-shaped bay where the Sea of Cortez turns a stunning shade of turquoise. The water is so shallow that you can walk hundreds of meters from shore, and it rarely rises above the waist. On some mornings at low tide, it barely reaches the knees, revealing bright white sand beneath water. White sand curves around the bay, calm waters reflect the surrounding desert hills, and the entire view feels remarkably peaceful. In the distance, yachts often rest on the turquoise water, adding to the beauty of the bay without disturbing its calm atmosphere. Unlike many famous beach destinations, the shoreline remains largely free from large developments, allowing nature to remain the main attraction. Millions of people came to Mexico for football. They came expecting unforgettable matches, passionate fans, and the electric atmosphere that only a World Cup can create. But as many visitors explored beyond the stadiums, they discovered that some of Mexico's greatest stories had nothing to do with football. One of those stories led them to Guadalupe. Welcoming millions of visitors every year, Guadalupe wasn't on every football fan's itinerary. Yet, it often became one of the places they remembered most. What catches people off guard is the sheer scale of it. The massive modern basilica can hold thousands of people at once. While older historic churches nearby tell the story of centuries of Mexican history. But Guadalupe is more than architecture. During Mexico's fight for independence, revolutionary leader Miguel Hidalgo carried a banner associated with Guadalupe, turning it into a powerful symbol of unity and securing its place in the nation's history. Tepic, the capital of Nayarit, was founded in 1531 by Nuño Beltrán de Guzmán on the site of an older indigenous settlement. As the region grew, Tepic became an important trading center, connecting communities across western Mexico. Walking through Tepic, visitors are greeted by colorful colonial buildings, peaceful streets, and the striking Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, whose twin towers have watched over the city for generations. The relaxed atmosphere makes it easy to discover this side of Mexico. The beauty of Tepic extends far beyond its streets. Green mountains surround the city, while nearby forests, volcanic landscapes, and natural springs create a breathtaking backdrop in every direction.